Hey everybody, Texas Trucker here at Lance Performance Shop, LoneStarMopars.com. Just got back from Harbor Freight a little bit ago. Apologies in advance if my voice cuts out. I'm gonna try to get this cranked out for one very important reason. It was recently my nephew's birthday, and you'll recall we got him some cool stuff. We had sort of a hodgepodge. It was a train wreck tool haul. One of the items was actually a nice little drill kit from Hercules. I say kit because we get the drill, which is great. You get the charger, you get the battery. Small battery, but better than no battery, right? Plus, it was the way it was priced at the time, it was the way to go. But I told you I kind of screwed up, and what I screwed up with is not getting him drill bits. And it's my first chance to rectify the situation, and that is what we did. Came in, I wanted to go with Hercules. I've had good luck with them again, aside from getting my left palm, but there was sort of caught me off guard. There were two kits. There was one that had a few more pieces, which made no sense because this is loaded down with the small sizes, and I was kind of in a hurry. Usually wind up being in one, and I tried to kind of deduce in my mind what the difference was, and I thought, okay, well, what would my nephew be doing with these? And as I mentioned, they've been like on a big kick of like hanging pictures and things like that, and that is small sizes. This had more small sizes. Personally, 1/8" bits, you can never have enough. 3/16, quarter, common sizes. It could bite me. Maybe he would need larger sizes, who knows, but I think for now the small sizes is where I would like to err, and that's exactly what we did. I believe this was $24.99. The one that didn't have as many small bits was $29.99. Again, I didn't really spend enough time to figure out exactly what it is. Right here, you can see what we get. 1/16, you get two 5/64, one 3/32, one 7/64, one 1/8, two. Would have been happy with 4 of those, maybe more. 9/64 and 5/32, one 11/64, you get two. 3/16, another common size, two. 13/64, 7/32, 15/64, so you get one of each. Quarter, we get two, and then 5/16, 3/8, and half, you get one of each. So it does go all the way to half, all the way down to a 1/16, which, I don't know, maybe like a large thumbtack or something might come into play there for him. Obviously, since this is for my nephew, I don't want to open it up here. I'll wind up opening it because it'll be a pain in the butt, but right there you can see these little cases. I've had decent luck with them. They do have a starter point on them. They're hex flute, blue braid, again the main thing, titanium coating there. And again, I opted to do this set over the impact bits because again, we actually got the dedicated drill. Granted, drill driver, but while we could have gone the impact route, I thought, you know what, we're just gonna play it safe, go this direction. The drill should have way more control. We can dial it farther back. Again, you know, you think kind of like homeowner DIY, kid at college, that type of thing. You know, don't be thinking of fabrication or heavy metal or anything like that. And I think this is a pretty solid pickup. So again, my apologies there, not getting that to go with the drill on the birthday, but things have been hectic. So that's kind of our breadwinner of this episode. But this was something I've never I'm sort of on the fence with, but it was, I think, instant savings or clearance, one of the two, don't hold me to it, but I can tell you it was $9.99 at the store, and that made me decide to go for it. And what we have, I can see why this is clearance now. Okay, I should really pay more attention. Not just to that, but when I'm in the store, when I throw this down, you'll be like, oh, nice, hex bits. And somebody like, no. I see the bit, and I see a 30, and it's like a 50 over there. These are Torx. Yeah, or Star when we don't license it, right? I'm a little concerned about these now for more reason than one. But what I was thinking is, I was like, you know what? Because I've been on hell-bent on finishing like the socket organization stuff, and believe it or not, I've said this many times, I've had good luck with their hex bits. Now I'm talking, no experience with the ball and stuff, None of their newer hex keys, but like going back in time, you know, to where it's T-handles and then bit sockets like this, I have been impressed. The S2 tool steel, it seems like something that should suck because it's so much cheaper than everything else. The big issue now, you've got really good ones that are typically priced at a premium, and then everything else, including things that you'd think would be better than Harbor Freight, they're really proud of them. And again, country of origin, factories, you're limited there. It's sort of like, hey, go this route. Honestly, this is sort of two things for me. It was to try these, and two, it was to sort of like fill out a set, you know, maybe like a 3-row Ernst. That's what I had in mind. SAE metric Torx. Just kind of makes sense, right? And there was a couple of sets I looked at. One of them was an Icon, and it did something really weird. I think it was clearanced, and I knew why in the store when I looked at it. I'm trying to think back on just a few hours ago. And, I want to say it didn't have, like, it started, I think it was 3/8, and I want to say it like started like way high. There was no 15, 20, 25, you know, let alone anything smaller. And so I started looking around, and just me assuming things, it was like really hectic. There was like a guy stalking stuff, and then there was like this meth couple over here, and someone I think trying to steal stuff, you know, your typical experience. This store, the employees are fantastic at this one though, and it was way more crowded. I've never seen it this crowded at that store. But anyway, what I realize now when I just pulled these out of the bag, you know, because I was going to tell you like, okay, we're going to split the set here, and I thought this would be 1/4 and 3/8. I really did. And you're thinking like, oh, it's 3/8 and a half, because that's a beefcake there on the end. That's a T60, which you rarely see. My big complaint with Torx bit sockets is it usually stops before a T50 or a T55. What on earth do you do with those? That's usually seatbelt bolts, right? Anything modern. Back in the day, you just throw down, have a grade 8 bolt. But, you know, there's modern junk, you got to have all these stupid specialty things. And I assumed, again, never assume anything, but, you know, when I looked at this, I did, to my credit, I was like, all right, what does this have? It had T20, T25, T27, T30, T40, T45, T50, T55, and T60. So 20 to 60, pretty much all your bases are covered. These are all 1/2-inch drive, and that is kind of insane to me. Again, I thought it would be a split set. Like, I wasn't expecting this to be 3/8. I thought it might be, but really like 50 and up, you'd think maybe half. But like, you know, here down, you would for sure think 3/8, right? Maybe even here down type of a thing. But no, it's a deal. These are all 1/2-inch. That's, ooh. My bad on that one. Like I said, this is sort of just to kick the tires, see how they are. These are Taiwan, so I do not see on here any mention of them being the S2 tool steel, sadly. Actually, I do, if we look at the sockets. So fantastic again. You can see Pittsburgh branding there. I wouldn't call these high vis, but they're pretty legit. I mean, that's a very large size stamping. So T20, but if you look next to it, right, you're going to see the S2 CRV, so S2 tool steel, and then chrome vanadium for the socket body. I'm leery but optimistic with these, especially at the price point. Obviously, would it be nice to have the T10, T15 for sensors and stuff like that? Yes. Currently, what I've been using for the last, 4 or 5 years, a little VHOS set, where the bits actually pop out. So say that we did trash one, you basically just loosen the set screw, pop it out, throw a new bit in, you're home free. These are not set up that way, but they're also $9. And yeah, I'm just kind of at work. This is kind of what I was really, I'm going to keep these here. And I might play around with them on, especially like some junk stuff, like if I bring in throttle bodies, right, you know, just to play around with, and I pull the sensors off, or I'm harvesting, you know, connections off said throttle body. Coming in with these, we'll get a feel for it. It's usually something's either good or it's junk, and you know right off the bat. So if I got a decent fastener, I'll see what these do, take it from there. At work currently, you know, and I hope it stays this way, I don't really have to do much with Torx bits. Honestly, the biggest thing, which is almost always T25, is like when stuff comes in crated or palletized real fancy, I would have zero qualms using these on that, because again, that's not something I keep them just in case, you know, like we ever pallet something back or shoot. It's kind of, I guess it's just done for security or something. I don't really know. Like, maybe these originate in a part of the country where that's just standard. Who knows? But I do keep the fasteners just in case I want to reuse them or just shoot, you know, the lid back on a crate type of a thing. I would not at all be opposed to using this here. If I junk those fasteners, I don't care. But I really, this isn't a situation where I'm at work and I have like, oh geez, you know, T25, T30 all the time. No. It's literally just almost exclusively reserved to that stuff. Some machines every once in a while, you know, but most of the stuff's older, so I avoid this modern nonsense. But yeah, I had no idea they were all half. So I would venture to guess that these are clearanced, maybe for that reason. Again, half-inch drive and a T20, like that's kind of... You know, if something's seized, you know, by all means, you know, go for it. But that's, let's say, maybe just a bit disproportionate. Now, the greatest thing that could possibly have happened there, aside from the sack not falling all the way down, is that's actually a fantastic segue. Don't worry, the item that hit the floor is not the one that I needed. But, this was definitely not clearance. It was not on sale, but it was on instant savings, which is a lot like a sale. I have no idea what to expect here. You've got to understand the crazy thing, as many Harbor Freight tool hauls as we've done, as long as I've shopped at the place, in terms of ratchets, I didn't really have much from there. I still don't know that I intend to. The Icon, it's either been like, whoa, you know, really good, or like, you know, this kind of sucks more than like the cheaper option type of a thing. Similar setup, the Quinn, that little quarter drive has been fantastic. I sort of brought that in just to kind of test it right. This was something I saw on instant savings, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do it. It's $16.99, which I think is a legit price. If I throw it in over here, you're going to see it and you're like, uh-oh, I thought Pittsburgh went to the green handles. Well, they largely have. You can still find the red handle stuff mixed in. I think that's mainly to differentiate it from Icon because it's such a similar handle, right? Just invert and subtly change the colors. But you'll see right there, there's a yellow tag, and you think like, oh, you got this from like junk clearance, huh? No, that's telling you something here. 72 tooth. These actually, I know it's going to sound dumb, but you know, like my little Tectons, and I don't mean in this case the roto heads, I'm going back to like the composite. Pittsburgh has the same exact thing, same factory, different color scheme, right? Those are actually, I'm not saying they're great. They're pretty dadgum legit ratchets. I do have the kind of funky offset one. It skipped a few times on me, the Tecton one, but thinking how cheap I got that, especially it's even less that you'd be out at Harbor Freight, especially if you wait for a sale, coupon, instant savings, something along those lines. These are all basically sourced from the same place. Now, there are shortcomings like the chonky head. You know, again, they're not going to be state-of-the-art, but $16.99 for a half-inch drive ratchet, 72 tooth, that's pretty decent. The catch is, this is extendable. Okay, it goes from 12 to 18 inches. That kind of makes it like two ratchets in one. And we have a couple tie-in here, and obviously number one, we can compare it to some of our German extensions. But check this out, the way this is going to work. You see that arrow right there? If I just pull down, boom. This does have several detents here, if we can get the glare down a little bit. So we'd assume this is 18 at a detent that it's caught in. I'm just going to guess that that's about an inch. So 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, and nothing would be 12, right? So boom, or maybe that's 12, who knows? Could be spaced differently. But I don't really care, to be honest with you. if you're thinking like, well, hey, you know, got these to go with those Torx bits. Imagine a 1/2-inch drive, 18-inch ratchet on the end of a T20. Well, what could go wrong, right? This actually does have a specific purpose. And that purpose, I've talked about it recently in some videos. I never know how they're going to wind up being released. But I've kind of been wanting to create, you know, like, or build out better, dedicated, like, in-car setups, right? What would that be? Nothing fancy, obviously. Again, that's not when we're going to come in. We don't want to run. We would like to run, you know, like a Hazette ratchet and Stavilla sockets and, you know, all the good stuff. That would be ideal. But the simple fact of the matter is it's kind of a high likelihood of losing said items, right? Or having them stolen might even be more likely than losing them. And so you want to be able to take care of issues, but you also kind of, you know, want to be okay if you drive off and leave this on the side of the road. Or your, you know, 3 of the sockets roll off of the rail and tumult downhill, right? You rarely have a perfect day where you break down or run out of gas or have something go wrong. It's usually raining, it's usually dark, it's usually cold, there's a north wind, hail or tornadoes coming. It's just the way things go. And so this will come in, and the reason it appealed to me is, number one, it goes 12 to 18 inches, it covers 1/2-inch drive. Number two, this stores small, right? Like, I don't have to, that might fit in a box I would keep. More than likely it would have to angle if it even fit at all, but this, fully contracted, that's going to fit in pretty much any toolbox I decided to keep, right? If it goes in the truck, which is kind of what I was thinking, even throw it under the seat, something along those lines. The thing is kind of like a club. You could use it as a weapon if you had to, I suppose. You could smash glass, hammer out a trailer ball, all sorts of things, because again, this is kind of like a junk beater, decent ratchet. But at $16.99 on instant savings, I was a fan. I decided to pull the trigger. Here it is. I think you could potentially, the Pittsburgh breaker bar, which is really solid in my opinion, was on for like 16 bucks as well. That was a coupon, I think. I had to get some stuff for work, so I kind of used up my coupon allowance there. But anyway, the problem with that is, again, are you going to drive around with a 24 to 30 inch toolbox where that thing fits, right? Probably not. Now, if you've just got like a, you know, over the rail bed, you know, box or something, sure. If you got a side one, or if it's a service truck, yes. But if you're thinking of just, you know, like throwing something in the back of the truck, or, you know, having a box inside the cab type of a thing, you kind of have to compact things, make it more efficient, more space savings. You don't want to drive around with like an extra 1,000 pounds of tools, whether they're good or terrible. And I think this kind of fits that bill decently. So again, I am familiar with this ratchet mechanism. It's not the best, but for the money, it's really solid in my opinion. I've never used the Extendable. You can see here the collar does spin, evidenced by the ratchet rotating around. The handle, if you've used anything from Pittsburgh, whether it's red and black or green and black, it's that handle. It fits your hand well. This is a bit heavy. It's a bit bulky. Theirs is a solid tube here, obviously hollow on this end. Good bit of weight. It's not the most balanced thing. You've got an on-off selector switch. Smooth now. You've got a quick release as well. There's a lot to like about this. Now, what I want to know from you, I can only assume that quite a few of you have this and probably had it for a really long time. What do you think of it? What are you doing with it? Is that why you picked it up? You're thinking like, hey, you know, I could probably break some lug nuts off if I had to. Would I rather use this than a little 4-way or the stupid little factory ones, you know, that offset at stupid angles where you smash your hands? Yes, I would. If we shear the head out of this, am I too concerned? No, I am not. Again, why? Well, one, yes, $16.99, but number two, lifetime warranty. So we could conceivably bust this thing out to 18 inches, and I could break off 4 of the 5 lugs, go for the last and final one, change tires on the side of the road. There goes the head. Guess what? I throw it in the back of the truck, we run to Harbor Freight the next time, and I walk out with a brand new Ratchet. So, like I said, the real balancing act, I don't want to spend a ton of time here on it, but the real balancing act with roadside stuff is at what point do you draw the line, right? Do you say, well, my Matco stuff was replaced with Snap-on, and it's just kind of surplus extras in the box, let's make it my road kit. That works great, if you're in that position, but for everyone else, your Matco stuff is probably your cream of the crop that you're using daily, right? So, what do? Do you go to the Matco guy, and you say, hey, I want to rebuy some of this and put it in my car, or I want it in the truck? Or do you just go and you get the cheapest thing you can find? You go to flea markets and try to get reputable brands for Harbor Freight prices? Has Harbor Freight come along? You got to think, this isn't something you're going to use. You hope you never have to use it. Maybe you use it from time to time, helping somebody out, keeps your good stuff at home so you don't lose it. Similar circumstances there as a roadside repair. But where do you draw the line between let's spend, $6,000 outfitting a small toolbox so I can do repairs on the road with Snap-on? Or do you say, hey, this Icon's going to get me by? Or, wow, Napa had a really good deal on a comprehensive 3/8 and quarter set. I could probably do 95% of the stuff I'd ever need to do. Because you got to realize, if you throw a rod through the side of the block, you'd have to be pretty well equipped, right? And you're driving around with spare engines and things like that, and then you'd have to have some sort of a collapsible hoist or a way to lower an undercarriage. And there came a cough there, fought it off. Drop a K-member down. Like, you get to a point, like, you got to get a tow truck or a buddy with a trailer, right? But for simple things, where do you draw the line? And that's kind of where I've been trying to venture, and you'll see some more of it in the next video. But yeah, let me know if you've used this extendable ratchet. Same thing here. I'm sure some of you have these. That was on me. Again, I just kind of in a hurry. I was like, yeah, okay, this is a better deal than the Icon setup. You get way more comprehensive sizes. And little did I know, they're all 1/2-inch drive. So that was my bad. And then again, right there, boom, beautiful. Got drill bits for my nephew. So with that said, again, let me know your thoughts on this stuff. We did really good price-wise. It's just a question of quality again. If these are like the hex bits, I've never used the ball end. I've never used the long ones. But the same size hex, SAE, and metric, they're pretty good. Again, that would be something I would not hesitate to throw in, like if you've got, I don't know, your valve covers or something are held down in something a little more trick. I wouldn't hesitate on doing that as opposed to losing a really expensive bit socket, right? Same thing, the ratchet, the socket, even if it's high end, it doesn't know if it's being spun by, a $190 ratchet or a $9 ratchet. So these are things you have to think about. And like I said, I'm interested in your thoughts on that. We might make a dedicated video, get some ideas, or maybe I'll just have something put together. One of my big things with the old cars, I've always had a little tool set. And I would have to remember, like, oh, I'm taking the duster, let me get the tool set. Sometimes you forget. And so it would kind of be nice, to just like, hey, this one's staying in the charger, and now we're going to throw this one in the duster, and then it's just there. And like I said, if you're over at a friend's house and they have issues, or if I'm at my sister's house and something comes up, it's like, I've got tools, whether they're the greatest in the world or just something that'll cover whatever she needs done. They're with me, and that's kind of a selling point again. Nothing that you pack up with that specific stuff in mind, just, hey, I can get by with this. So that's something I'm got my mind on quite a bit here lately. But anyway, I can kind of feel my throat drying out. I'm going to try to pop a cinnamon mint or something, see if I can get my voice back long enough to make another video. So your thoughts on any of this stuff, Hercules bits, the Pittsburgh S2 tool steel stuff, in particular, that set, and of course the extendable ratchet here. Let me know your thoughts. And again, feel free on the roadside stuff. Again, that'll be a common theme here for a while. I go off on these little kicks from time to time and try to iron stuff out. So wrenches is really where I have a problem, but I don't want to go too far into that, because you can have some really cheap junk wrenches that'll just make things way worse than they are. It's kind of an unknown there, so especially with cheap ratcheting wrenches. But with that said, I will quit rambling. Let me know your thoughts. Anything you want to talk about here, feel free to share your opinions. Again, especially first-hand feedback. With that said, you know the drill. LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. If you like the video, if you like multiple things we do here, I encourage you to leave a like, subscribe, jump your Charger across the creek, land with your toolkit intact while you spin out this Harbor Freight Pittsburgh half-inch drive extendable ratchet. YouTube just might notify you we got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. With that said, thanks so much for watching. Hope I catch you back here for more from the shop. Alright, couldn't leave you hanging here, so what we've done, we've used the little Stavillas and of course what I've dubbed the socket flinger. It's a little philo. Can't get these anymore, but it's a striking cap. Those things are so good at taking these stupid sockets off those hooks. But anyway, what I want to do, I figured we should see what this looks like with the socket actually on the tool. So drop it down, again, about the play you would expect. Keep in mind, you're also seeing that come into action. So if I try to hold down, it's about average, right? The mechanism itself, okay, if we take a look at that, it's really a solid little ratchet for the money. Something else I wanted to do, I don't have many Pittsburgh sockets. This is one of those like dirt cheap metric SAE half-inch combination ones. So right there, got a 9/16 on the end of it, again 12 point. I think it's going to be fine for what we want to do with it. Again, the huge selling point is just right here. If you want to see more detail on this, let me know. Again, you probably haven't seen the last of this thing. But, I think that's all I wanted to add, is just kind of give you a little action with this and kind of equip some sockets. Again, keep in mind, if you're doing something like I'm doing, if you've got, say, some half-inch impact sockets with you, you're going to choose to run one of those. You got a half-inch hand ratchet just in case your battery's dead. All those impact sockets will plug and play here as well. So, well, that's it. Hopefully that helps you out, and I'll catch you back here for another.